pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing as I ask for a moment of silence. The first moment of silence is for our city historian, Peter Lascaris. He served the city of Middletown for 41 years. The second moment of silence is James McClincy, former alderman and city employee. May they both rest in peace. Thank you. Roll.
Alderman Rodriguez.
Here.
Alderman Jean-Francois.
Here.
Alderman Johnson.
Here.
Alderwoman Ray. Alderman Gomez.
Here.
Alderman Green.
Here.
Alderman Witt.
Here.
Alderman Massey.
Here.
President Rodriguez.
Here.
Quorum is present.
Approval minutes.
Nothing this evening.
Correspondence.
Nothing this evening.
For the good of the city, I would like to invite the mayor.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to all the representatives from the Middletown School District and Superintendent Creedon. So maybe just before I begin, I want to note that the city of Middletown represents only about half of the Middletown School District, named Enlarged City School District, but enlarged meaning more than us. And so tonight, we're also joined by Frank Dandanto, the supervisor of the town of Waukegan. And tonight, both communities are coming together to recognize someone whose name, whose work, and whose impact are deeply woven into the fabric of the city of Middletown and the town of Waukegan, Mr. John Perino. John did not know he was coming to this. For 6 decades, since 1966, John has dedicated his life to public education. And just think about that for a minute, 6 decades. Double that and you have Massey's age. Generations of students, families, and educators. An entire community shaped in part by his steady hand and unwavering commitment. He has served as a teacher, an administrator, and for more than 25 years as a member of the Middletown Enlarged City School District Board of Education. But titles alone don't tell the story of Mr. Perino. What defines Mr. John Perino is not just the roles he has held, but the way he has carried them out, with humility, with integrity, and with a singular focus, doing what is right for the students and our families. John has been a tireless advocate for fairness, especially when it comes to funding for our schools. He understood that equity isn't just a concept, it's a responsibility. Because when our schools are properly funded, our students succeed, our teachers are supported, and our community grows stronger. At a time when many were asking, what do we do next? John was already focused on what do our students need most. He also understood something fundamental. You cannot educate the mind if the basic needs are not met. When federal support fell short, John helped lead the effort to ensure every student had access to a meal. Not because it was easy, not because it was required, but because it was the right thing to do. John has always believed in expanding opportunity. He has championed dual enrollment, giving students a head start on college and their future. He has pushed for stronger literacy initiatives because he knows reading is the foundation for everything that follows. And he has emphasized accountability and access, ensuring every student has the opportunity to succeed. But truly, what sets John Perino apart from others is that his service doesn't end in the boardroom. You see him everywhere. I think we all know that. At school events, at community gatherings, at ceremonies and milestones. And he's there not for the recognition, but because he genuinely cares. He is present, he is engaged, and is trusted by all. A man of his word and a man of action. His service extends beyond education as well. Through his work with the Middletown Elks Club, he has supported scholarships, mentorship, community service, and has served a few pancake breakfasts. He has stood with our volunteer firefighters, advocating for them and recognizing their sacrifices. And he has supported ROTC programs and the young men and women who choose to serve our country. You know, when we talk about John Perino, we're not just talking about one individual, we're talking about a family legacy, a legacy that spans more than 100 years in the Middletown area. John Perino was there at Middletown High School back in the 70s, and for many of us, including myself, he was part of that experience, helping shape our path at a critical time in our lives. That kind of legacy doesn't happen by accident. It's built over time, through values, through sacrifice, and through a belief that giving back matters. And John has carried that legacy forward in the most meaningful way possible, through education. Because when you invest in education, you're not just shaping one life, you're shaping generations. That's what Mr. Perino, and that's what the Perino name represents in and around the city of Middletown. Commitment, stability, service, and pride in this community. In my role as mayor, I've had the opportunity to work with many dedicated individuals, but John Perino stands out because his focus has always been exactly where it should be, on the kids, on the families, and doing what's right. John Perino is the definition of a leader. He doesn't seek the spotlight. He doesn't look for credit. He shows up, he does the work, and he makes a difference, quietly, consistently, and meaningfully. So tonight we recognize not just a career, but a lifetime of impact. In the fall of 2025, John Perino was awarded the Everett R. Dyer Award from the New York State School Board Association. This statewide honor recognizes exceptional leadership and dedication to public education, qualities he has demonstrated throughout his decades of service. His commitment to students, families, and educational equity reflects the true spirit of this award. On behalf of the City of Middletown, President Rodriguez, the Common Council, and all of our residents, John, we say thank you. Thank you for your dedication, thank you for your leadership, and thank you for your unwavering belief in the power of education. As we all know, and I opened with, the district is shared between the City of Middletown and predominantly the town of Waukegan, and it's a shared community. And with that, I'd like to invite Supervisor Dandanto to offer remarks on behalf of our neighbors in the town of Waukegan. Frank and I, even with a bit of an age gap, share one thing in common. We both knew Mr. Perino from our days at Middletown High School, which makes tonight even more meaningful. So Frank, please come on up.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council, Mr. Perino. I'm not quite as loquacious as the good mayor. I'm not quite as seasoned, so my speech is a little bit more off the cuff. And so you'll bear with me if I stumble a little bit as I go through how Mr. Perino, and he will always be Mr. Perino to me, how Mr. Perino impacted my life as a student at MHS. One of the things that you might know about me, I'm in the theater business. I spend a lot of time coiling cables and picking up things and working in the background for events. And one of my introductions to that, believe it or not, was with Mr. Perino. I have memories of Mr. Perino, believe it or not, working with the AV Club, a club that I was not party to while I was at MHS. I was actually in the band, so I spent a lot more time down in the band room, but I did spend a fair amount of time in the library. And one of the things that I noticed was that there was a lot of equipment. And that equipment was very interesting. And Mr. Perino was meticulous about the maintenance of that equipment and meticulous with the club. And it was a very diverse club, rather small club, but a diverse club, and they were all really engaged. And so I paid attention to that, and as I watched him work his magic around those students, it became really clear to me that there's a niche for every individual and a magnet for that individual to find inspiration. And in that moment, I found some inspiration and took a lesson from that and grew that into working backstage and now a career of 30 some odd years as a designer working on Broadway. Got a Tony nominated Broadway show out there right now. Go see it, Lost Boys, for those Gen Xers out there, you might remember it. What I want to say here right now is this. Well, I am the supervisor of the town of Wallkill, and we frequently are overlooked by the great city of Middletown. We do actually have a fair amount of impact on the city school district, and we are impacted by the city school district. And with leadership like Mr. Perino's, that impact is profound. So I want to thank Mr. Perino for his years and years of dedication, and yes, seen everywhere, at every football game, at every event, always with his hat, always quietly steering the process along with a smile on his face. Like I like to say, he is a cornerstone of the small group of individuals that pick up and put away the chairs. For those individuals out there who don't know that phrase, there is a small, and I imagine some of you up here are those people, there's always a small group of people at the end of every meeting that stick around and pick up the chairs. Mr. Perino instilled that in me, and I am thankful for that. He has instilled that in my community, and we are thankful for that. Thank you, Mr. Perino, for all that you've done.
So, John, we're going to give you an opportunity to gab, but basically it's a proclamation, a joint proclamation from myself and Supervisor Dundanto, along with the key to the city of Middletown, and it outlines basically what I spoke about. And a lot of this information came from the heart, from both of us, but also a lot came from the superintendent and your colleagues on the Board of Education. So we appreciate everything you are doing for the city of Middletown and the town of Wallkill and the school district, and continue the good work. I think you got about 20 more years in you. All right? Congratulations.
Thank you.
We look forward to another 20 as well.
Say a few words, John.
You know, I want to thank everybody for this. And I guess if I had to say one thing, but I'm not going to stand here and talk too long, I want to paraphrase what Albert Einstein said: a life lived for others is the only life to live. And I recognize this, and I want to thank everybody for this honor. And, you know, the people in this room have the same philosophy, because I've known many of you, most of you, for forever. I knew Mr. Dundanto when he was a very small child. He used to come to Sproat Street Playground, where I was the playground manager. The Dundanto family, great family in Middletown, lived across the street from Sproat Street Playground. His dad was an excellent auto technician. And, you know, as I said to Mr. Dundanto, his grandfather worked for the city school district. I remember that also. And I've known Mayor DeStefano, again, all my life. I knew him as a student. I knew him as an alderman and a mayor. And there are, I've known people on this board as colleagues, Dr. Johnson, Mr. Gomez, and I see Kevin Witt in the audience, and as a alderman, and Kevin Witt is one of my colleagues. And I've known people here. Rick McCormick was on the school board when I first started. And everybody, I could say things about everybody in this room, because I'm a community member, and as Tip O'Neill said, all politics is local. I believe that was the one who said that. So thank you again for this honor. I really appreciate this. Thank you.
We're going to take a 2-minute break, and then we're going to go to our presentation. Eileen, we're good? So at this time, for the good of the city, I would like to invite the school district to come up and present the budget presentation.
Good evening. Thank you so much, Mayor, President Rodriguez, Common Council, and Supervisor Dendanto. Thank you so much for having us tonight. And what a special night for us to present our budget. We always love coming here, getting an opportunity to connect back with the city and present the budget. But tonight, on a night when it truly embodies the city, the school district, and the town all working together. We all know in this room that the city and the town is not a success without a successful school district, and the school district cannot be a success in isolation without the support of the city and the town. So thank you so much for having us this evening. So the budget that we're going to share with you tonight is always grounded in the mission of the school district and the Board of Education to provide fiscally responsible opportunities, safe environments, all addressing the needs of our diverse student population. At the beginning of the year, we set aside time to review my goals. And so what we're showing here is just a visual to identify that each of our goals aligns to the Board of Education's vision, the district's vision, and you'll see where the pieces of the budget connect to my goals. The budget development is truly a collaboration between all of our community partners, elected officials, volunteers, financial advisors, feedback from schools and departments, as well as all of the processes and procedures we do to audit our books as we progress throughout the year. As we begin the budgeting process, there are a few things that we keep in mind. They're called budgeting assumptions, and those are things that are rolled over from year to year in terms of our consumer price index, our tax cap, our TRS, our teacher retirement system, our employee retirement system, and our health insurance premium. So we're just demonstrating for you here that before we even begin the budgeting process, these are the percentages that we have to consider as we're looking at the line item budget. And the biggest component of some of our budgeting assumptions are our contractual salaries. Those are things that we have been obligated to provide each year. And then just draw your attention to 8 and 9. 8 and 9 on this are pretty significant this year in particular because we still at this point don't have a budget from the state. And so what we are operating on is our January run, which gave us a 1% increase, which was a significant decrease. We were hoping for 2, but we landed at 1. So the budget that you see in front of you this evening is a very conservative look at our ability to leverage some of our savings accounts so that we don't impact our programming. Number 9 looks at unfunded and underfunded mandates. And so those are things that in the world of the school district, the state education department puts down a mandate, but then doesn't always provide us with the funding to support the implementation of that mandate.
Good evening, council members. It's an honor to be here. Mr. Mayor, Supervisor of the Town of Walk Hill, thank you so much for the opportunity. To the Middletown community, we are excited to show this budget because we were charged by our Board of Education, Mrs. Creed and myself, to create a budget that will continue the rich programs that we offer to our diverse students and their diverse interests. And that's the reason we're here. But at the same time, our school board says we make sure that we keep our taxpayers in mind. So we're fiercely protecting our taxpayers while continuing what we're providing for our scholars. Now, yes, please. So if you look, and what you see there is kind of the breakdown of our expenditures. The majority of our expenditures goes into our programs. And that explains the experience that our scholars have day in and day out. That is what we're paying for the majority of our budget. What you're seeing, so our budget, our 3-part budget include the administrative expenses. We try our best to keep it as low as possible as we move from one year to the next. And where you see there at the bottom, it's only a 2.27% growth. If we continue on the program expenses, the same thing there, all the different programs that we offer, only a 2.55% growth in that case. And then our third piece are capital expenses, which if you see, it's actually a smaller piece and smallest of the piece, but it's also a very small growth, 2.5%. But then that leads us to what our total budgeted expense is, and that is $283 million. Now, that is only a 2.65% growth over last year. And that is something that we aggressively try to make sure by monitoring and making sure that we're looking at our expenses and that we're not overtaxing our taxpayers. Now, how do we pay for all of this? The beautiful thing about this is that we usually, and a lot of places, you'll see 3 different sources of income. Here you will see 4. And one of the things that you need to point out is that the majority is paid by, almost 70% of it is paid by state aid. Then I also want to applaud our Board of Education who's here because of their planning over the years. We're able to use some of our reserve funds to offset some of the costs so that we can keep pass on that savings to our taxpayers, so we can keep our tax rate as low as possible. Now, what does that mean? Year after year, we'll see state aid actually went down somewhat, and normally that is mostly driven by our foundation aid. That right now is, as Mrs. Creedon said, is really what happened in our January run. Every year we expect 2%. This year it came in at 1%. So that is the first kind of bad news. However, local taxes also, because we were able to use our unappropriated funds, you can see that it represents even just a smaller portion of the full revenue, 26.8%. Now, with those 4 pieces of revenue, state aid, the other revenues category, our local taxes, and the use of our fund balances, we're able to actually cover the full budget with a 2.65% increase in our expenses year after year. Now, this is what's important. This is the good slide. This is the good slide. This is the slide. So the idea is that we went in to make sure that we're not doing anything that will go over the cap, right? And so the idea is that here we are. We're able to, just like we did last year, to maintain all of this to the budget to make sure all within 1.99%, which is below the cap that is given. Now, to put that into perspective, and this very crowded slide is actually a copy directly from the controller's calculation. So that is why it's all there, because we're not deviating from anything. But this is actually the full slide that shows exactly how much we were allowed to increase our taxes by. If you look at the number at the bottom where that red arrow is pointed, we were allowed by our controller's calculation to increase our taxes by 4.87%. But because of the mandate from our board, and because of decisions that were made long before, we were able to keep it at 1.99%. Now, what do we need to brag about this budget? Well, the proposed budget is $283 million. It's a budget increase of $7.3 million, which represents 2.65% growth. So which, in order to pay for all their expenses, our tax levy increase is just $1.48 million. And that represents at 1.99%. This is our cheat sheet, and as you partner with us to let the community know, and to the community members, this is the brag sheet to talk about all the things that we have accomplished in this budget to make sure that we're continuing our rich programs, at the same time fiercely protecting our local taxpayers. Now, Tuesday, May 19th is a very important day. It is Super Tuesday. And because we're below our cap, and because we did not exceed, all we need is a 50% plus 1 positive votes to have this budget pass. If it doesn't, then we have to rely on our contingent budget rules. And that is last year tax levy, no additional budget requests, no equipment purchases, applicable facility charges. So a different world, right, would have to facilitate if that doesn't happen. But one thing I do know is that even though Middletown may be a small city school district, our voice is big and it amplifies far. And our board members have allowed us to help us to do that. So we're at the forefront of advocacy because the state has not adopted a budget yet. So there is still hope, and we continue to advocate for an increase in foundation aid from the 1% that was published to 2%. There's new funding rules for homeless students, and increase parts of the formula for English language learners. and then full funds updates to school aid data systems. And that's part of our, the mandated fund, underfunded mandate, sorry. Yes, that's all part of our underfunded mandates. So I want to close, really, with two things. First thing is, we talked a lot about our rich programs. Well, this Friday, we have an event at the school called Experience Our Programs, something that's near and dear to us. It's an opportunity for our scholars to showcase all the things they have learned, to amplify their voices. We're inviting everybody in this room and the entire Middletown community to come and see and listen and learn what the programs that we're offering. And that's the first date, and this is this Friday at Middletown High School. The next thing is Super Tuesday. We're encouraging everybody to come out and vote. Amplify your voices. Thank you very much.
Quick question. The 1% that the state cut, did they give you an example why they only give you 1%?
So they use a formula called hold harmless, and so that is put in place to support school districts who have either declining or stable enrollment. So our school district has stable enrollment, so it means that the aid that we're receiving matches the per student aid allotted, right? So we're sort of flat. And so there has been talk over the last several years that hold harmless, which is sort of like a safety net for school districts with declining enrollment, would not be taken away. So they stayed true to that. They didn't take it away, but what they did do was decrease it by 1%. And so we think that this is continued efforts on the state's part to acknowledge for districts and communities that the next few years are likely going to be difficult in terms of funding, which is why we have been planning for that and putting money into our savings accounts, right? So that we can continue even through the lean times in terms of what the state is providing us. We won't see an impact majorly in terms of programs. There won't be major layoffs for teachers or support staff.
And how long can we go?
We've been planning probably for the last 5 years for, we work very closely with the audits that are done in our financial advisor, Mr. Jeff Smith. And I believe you were there on the evening that he did the presentation, the state of the state, financial state to the district. And we are in very good shape in terms of the way that we utilize our revenue sources. And one of those is through utilizing BOCES purchase services. We really amplify that. So every time we purchase a service through BOCES, as opposed to through an outside agency or an independent contractor, we get somewhere between 76 to 78 cents on that dollar back in return as revenue the next year. So we're very strategic about how we leverage our purchasing power, and very strategic about how we use our capital improvement projects to continue to bring us building aid, which is a revenue source as well.
Is there anything you guys need from us?
We need folks to come out and vote.
That's
what
it.
we need, yeah.
Absolutely. And use our brag sheet. Tell them about the budget that we've created for this year, for the coming school year.
Any other questions? Well, thank you.
Very much, thank you.
Thank you for your time.
I'm back. First, I want to thank the council president and the council for recognizing our city historian, and also Jim McClincy. Jim was a personal friend, and I spoke to his son today. The services will be Friday, and Peter's services were last week. So I think it's at Cornelius and Dodd, if I remember right, from 2 to 4, and either 6 to 8 or 7 to 9, with funeral on Saturday. So I wanted to extend my heartfelt condolences to his wife Susan and his children. I'm going to begin with, Maria, I think you got that wrong. Should be the drug trafficking. There you go. This past week, I joined Chief Awanchu and a large group of law enforcement regarding a multi-agency targeting of an organized drug trafficking ring that was distributing large amounts of cocaine and fentanyl in Middletown area, and across other communities in Orange County. The case originated in Middletown, where the Middletown Police Department immediately recognized our narco unit, developed intelligence, and worked closely with the DA, Sheriff Ortega, District Attorney Hoovler, and with other agencies, federal, state, and local partners. I believe I remember Port Jervis and Warwick and Monroe's name mentioned, but there was a large amount of agencies involved in this. But it originated here, and it was basically controlled in part by the City of Middletown Narco Unit. Law enforcement, as I said, seized significant amounts of cocaine, fentanyl, firearms, over $250,000 in cash, and they made numerous arrests. The message that we were trying to see, and myself, I was joined by the council president, as you can see in the picture, along with Chief Iwanchu. If you bring guns, drugs, violence into our community, eventually we will find you. That was the message that day, and that resonated with other communities too. It wasn't just the Middletown. The district attorney focused on that quite a bit. But I want to personally thank Chief Iwanchu, the men and women of the Middletown Police Department, every officer and agency involved, and the Middletown Narcotics Unit and for their professionalism and persistence. This was a 9-month investigation. In speaking to the taxpayers, as the school district just did, these are the kind of efforts that save lives. These are investments, especially when dealing with this type of drugs, these type of weapons, and the devastating impact that it has on our communities, not only here in Middletown, across our state and across our country. But let me be clear, and we think we've emphasized this message over and over, that we will not tolerate those who prey on our residents, that undermining public safety, or threaten the quality of life in our city. And we will use the resources necessary to not only deter you, but to arrest you. In this case alone, the Middletown Police Department invested 6,500 officer hours into this investigation. If you stretch that out, that probably approaches $1 million of investigative work that this department put in. I was briefed along the way about the message, not the message, about the activity that was going on by the chief. And believe me, I don't get specifics on details. I just get a general, here's where we're going, here's where we're spending our money, and we then support. And I know I've discussed it with the council president and some of you members of the council, and you're all been very supportive, and I appreciate that. So the message was heard loud and clear. I'm sure the next day it started all over again in all the communities. It stretched from Middletown to New Jersey to New York City and everywhere in between. But the police, law enforcement, the Middletown police did a great job, and I want to say thank you to Chief Iwanchu and the men and women there. And just give them a clap. If you saw the number of weapons involved, you know the danger that was involved with all of the people in this case. So they did a great job. So moving from that little saddening thing, we'll move to more positive happenings. I attended at the Temple Sinai, the prom, I think it's called the prom awareness or prom giveaway or whatever it's called. Basically, organizations that provide prom dresses, tuxes, suits to students in high schools, not just in Middletown, but hosted here at Temple Sinai. And I know the Minnesink, I believe Minnesink Rotary was involved, or one of the organizations, or Kiwanis. But it was a community effort, not just with Middletown, but with the surrounding communities. I want to thank everyone involved in it. I know specifically Josephine Moon Bloomfield, who's been involved for several years now, and Angela Lee for their organizing skills. They put it together, and they do a great job every year. Thank all the organizers and volunteers, and also Temple Sinai for the hosting it once again here in the city of Middletown. We got to meet a lot of the kids that were there, or young people. I don't think they want to be called kids, but all the young people that were there, and they were very appreciative of the efforts of everyone involved. And a lot of them probably would not have been able to go to the prom, or I just wish it was around when I was there. I wouldn't have spent a couple $100 on renting something, but it was a great thing, and it's great to see the excitement of all the people who participated. I was also invited, along with Maria Bruni, to attend the YMCA Youth and Government Luncheon this past week. We recognize the outstanding achievements of many young people in the community. They're already stepping forward. They're involved. I know Antonio Contreras seemed to be the lead spokesperson, and they really did a great job. Assemblymember Paula Kay was there. Maria Ingracia represented Congressman Ryan's office, and they offered dinner, but they also offered a lot of questions directed at each of us. And we were happy to address them. We were happy to invite them to participate in our youth and government programs, our Mayor's Youth Council, and also invite them to come in Common Council meetings and give their opinions on matters. So I want to thank Ross Maselli and his staff at the YMCA for organizing it. I believe there are 90, this has been going on for 90 years, but the first time in Middletown. So this is a significant movement to this program for the YMCA, and I want to commend the students and the Y for putting it all together. This past weekend, a group of us attended a series of events here held in the city of Middletown, recognizing Cinco de Mayo. We had Assemblymember Kay, legislators Janet Sutherland, Sparrow Tobin, Alderman Massey, and Alderman Gomez, along with Maria Bruni. We did attend all of the events. They were sponsored by, most of them sponsored by the bid district, some of them sponsored by the local restaurants who did not want any recognition. Primarily the Mexican restaurants, they paid for entertainment, they paid for dancers. They really did a great job. The festivities began on Saturday afternoon at Garcia's Market across the street in the park. Traditional music and dance. That later on we had the recreation department did face painting and other activities in Jerry's Park. And then in the evening we had more music and traditional dance over in Run for Downtown Park. And despite the colder weather, we had a decent turnout. Sunday we also had in Degnan Square, I think the Middies mariachis. That's what it was. Somebody yelled it from the back of the room. The Midi Mariachi Band was there along with others, and it was a great time. It was very cold, windy, and so thank all of those who were performing and thank those for coming out. And today, of course, is Cinco de Mayo Day, and today's my mother-in-law's birthday, too, by the way. So happy birthday, Rosa. We were also joined, another event that we attended over the last couple of weeks. We've had a busy couple of weeks, was we were met with a group of mayors who wanted to go to Albany to lobby our legislators on behalf of our constituents regarding auto insurance. It's a killer. It's a killer for us. It's a killer for the school district. It's a killer for the taxpayers. And so Governor Hochul has made a proposal that would not only cap auto insurance, but it would reduce. And even the people who oppose it that we met with, because we met with other legislators, they admitted that there is a savings. So, but they also admitted that they opposed it. Not ours. Senator Skoufis and Assemblymember Kay said they were supportive, and they would do anything necessary to help get it passed. But to know what we're up against is we're up against attorneys. Kevin's an attorney, but he's a good one. Right. And, you know, they're talking about some tort reform, and they're looking at fraud. They're looking at databases that would develop. They have people that are suing groups of litigants, doctors, and just a network of people that move around within the state and commit this fraud. And so she's made a significant proposal. We had the opportunity to meet with the governor also and discuss the issue. She laid out, we were all in favor of it prior to getting there, but when we met with the governor, she really laid it out for us on how this would be beneficial to our residents, not only from their premium point of view, but from their property tax point of view. I believe New York has maybe the highest or the second highest auto insurance rates in the country. Probably, if we're second, it's probably behind California. So, but it's significant money. It's one of the issues that makes living in New York much more expensive. When you hear people move, this is one of the things you hear about. But this is a legitimate one. And so we offered our support, and we were very happy when we met with Senator Skoufis and Assemblymember Kay that not only were they knowledgeable of her proposal, but they were also very supportive of it. And I also want to say, last night I attended the school board meet the candidates night. I had 6 candidates for 3 spots, and I wanted to congratulate all 6 members. They all did a great job. Mr. Massey was there, Maria, Rick McCormick, we all attended, and they all demonstrated their commitment to the community and to our students. And of course, while we all may be rooting for somebody differently in the race, it's important to recognize that every one of them just stepping up and running, you all realize that, just running for office is a commitment for you and your family. So I want to thank all 6 members who are competing. Alderman Johnson, our moderator from last night, calm down. He did a great job. How's that? He kept the conversation moving and giving each candidate an opportunity to speak. I think there were 6 questions. He had a rotation basis. He did a great job. We appreciate his efforts, and I'm sure they did too. I just could do without his French lesson on one of the questions, but I told him so today.
If you
too.
get them going.
Yeah, I know. But it was encouraging to see the knowledge that all the board members have. They have different perspectives on things, and as I said, we'll all have an opportunity to vote on May 19th, not only in the election, but also on the budget. So Middletown should give their, let your voices be heard, and that's through the vote. I also want to thank Superintendent Creedon and Dr. Norval Connell for their comprehensive budget presentation this year. You make this presentation annually. It's very informative. I believe a lot of the folks who, we get positive feedback from our residents when they're watching Channel 20, either live or over one of the replays of it. But the transparency is important. People need to see the numbers, not just hear the critics. They need to hear the numbers. I will be supporting the budget. I'm voting yes, absolutely. And I encourage our residents to take a deep look at what was presented tonight, and hopefully you'll do so also. And I want to emphasize one broader point on school budgets, and because we always talk about the kids, and rightfully so, but it's not only about the kids, it's about the community also. Because when a budget fails, for whatever reasons, usually the community starts to turn a little bit. Property values drop. People don't want to relocate into your community. So it's important that when we have responsible budgets presented, that we as elected officials go out there and talk to our people and encourage them to support it. I know you're going to get some naysayers who are going to say, no, I vote no on everything. Well, God bless you. Vote no on everything. But fortunately, I don't believe there's ever been a Middletown school budget voted down. And that is responsible budgeting, it's transparency, it's communication, and all of the good things that come with it. But more importantly, it's a commitment to what the programs that are being offered in the Middletown School District. And the progress speaks for itself. Last night, Mr. Estrada, for example, mentioned that it wasn't too long ago that the Middletown graduation rate was 54%. That's a low number, not good work. But they're very proud to say, and it's on the legacy cards that they've handed out, today's graduation rate is 94%. That's a huge difference. That's a plus 40. It's Trump's the only one that's worse off with a minus 40. But this is a plus 40 for the Middletown School District. So, and it's the responsible budgeting. That's what it is. It's responsible. It's talking to us, talking to the residents, talking to the students. You know, some of them do vote too. So let's keep the momentum going in the city. It's important that we support the district, but more importantly, it's important that we support our residents, communicate to them the importance of a school budget passing, especially when it has a 1.99% increase in it. That is far below what a lot of other districts are will be proposing, in my opinion, especially over the next couple of years. So I did attend, as Superintendent Creedon said, the audit presentation or the financial advisor presentation, and all he had were kudos for how the district administration has handled their investments, how they handle their budgeting, and how they handle the operation within the Middletown School District. That's a credit to them, It's also a credit to the residents in the city for supporting it all these years. And I know this is not a school board meeting, but it is school board night with Perino and now this. So I'm going to be out calling friends and family and asking them to support the budget, and I hope you do also. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to address them.
Any question for the mayor?
Thank you.
Thank you. Going back for the good of the city, I think we have two people that want to come up.
Yes, former Alderman Jerry Kleiner.
Yeah, 3 minutes.
Thank you. I came tonight to hear the school board presentation, but also as president of the Historical Society of Middletown and the town of Walk Hill, Inc. I just wanted to recognize Peter Lascaris. He's been there every Wednesday. He's been I didn't know he was Dr. Peter Lascaris until I read that in the obituary. So that was a week ago. But he never talked about that because he never talked about himself. I think much like Mr. Perino, everything was about Middletown. And the work he did, I first met him when I joined the committee to celebrate Middletown's centennial, the 100 years. And I joined because I wanted to get Zambelli to do our fireworks presentation. I wanted it to be the best ever. And Peter was very supportive of that, but he also, I worked with him on the calendars. There was a series of 5 calendars starting in 1984. The last one was in 1988. So I worked with him on the photos, but Peter, in the same time, did Middletown, a photographic history. This book is unbelievable in what you can learn about Middletown. When I did the 2013 125-year calendar, Peter did all the research. So he did all the writing, I did the photos. And that's what we kept doing, but Peter would never talk about himself. He'd only talk about Middletown. So I've been enthusiastic about Middletown. Peter was the encyclopedia of Middletown history. So the loss is incalculable. There's no one to take his place. In 2019, he did Old Middletown Homes. And if you look up an address, and this has been sold out since a few weeks after it came out, there's one copy out in the case outside, so I have to see where that goes eventually. But you look up an address and you'll find out not only where the lot came from, who bought the lot, who originally decided what should be built there, who the architect was, who the builder was, just a tremendous amount of information when they were born, when they died, where they came from, what they did, where they came from. His research was absolutely unbelievable. So this book on Middletown postcards, it's photos of postcards, but it's also all the great people who catch them, and A.H. Still, who's buried in Hillside Cemetery. All the people who did that, we asked them about updating that. I think it was impossible to update that book. This was for our 100th anniversary in 2023, and these were a bunch of seldom seen photos that Peter wrote all the history of the photos. So I worked on the photos to get them to print well, but Peter did the history. And all our recent, there's part 1 and part 2 on Hillside Cemetery, all our newsletters, This was Dr. Julia Bradner. That's actually a painting we have at the Historical Society, and that's North Street, right at Orchard Street. I think it was done probably in the 1880s, but she was amazing. She started Thrall Hospital, and of course we have a picture of, in one of these, that was the house that Mrs. Thrall lived in on Grove Street. It's now Cornelius and Dodd Funeral Home. And we have Thrall Park, we had Thrall Hospital, we had Thrall Library. The people who stepped up and made a difference in Middletown, and Peter was so good at recognizing all of them. There's a two-part series on Hillside Cemetery. So I just wanted to say we will miss him. I will miss him like crazy. We'll still be open every Wednesday from 1 to 4 p.m. His work is there, but the loss to the city is incalculable, and he would never say that, but I would. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Susan Depew.
Good evening. I'm Susan. The mayor called me the litter lady from the very beginning. In a good way. In a good way, certainly. On April 18th, we had our annual litter cleanup day, and it was with good wishes, and the mayor and the common council, all the employees of the city showed up. It was wonderful. But what made it wonderful was the people who showed up, the people who cared about Middletown, the children and the moms and the dads and the grandparents. The cleanup day was on April 18th, and from my viewpoint, I thought it was great. It could have been better, but I thought it was great because we saw people care about Middletown. The day was clear, a bit brisky, but perfect. City of Middletown residents and employees, as well as volunteers, came, and so many people from civic groups showed up, and Middletown High School and the entire school district showed that Middletown means something to them. I would just like to thank everybody who showed up. A good thank you to my friend Rick for doing all the things that I couldn't do. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, remarks of department heads, economic development.
Good evening, everyone, and congratulations, Mr. Perino. Few items I have tonight. We're going to have an open house at 168 Linden Avenue. That's the Community Development Agency home that we rehabbed, and we are selling now as part of our program, our home ownership program. So from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., we are holding an open house with our partners, Pathstone. Also on the agenda tonight, you have the Municipal Tourism Grant. I'm looking for your support. That is the grant for $4,999, and that'll be applied towards promotional efforts for the Run for Downtown this year. Yesterday, we had a ribbon cutting, Sunrise Bowls, right here on West Main Street. Go check them out. It's delicious smoothies and drinks. Acai bowls, acai, I can't say it, but it's really good. Mr. Massey, I think you had lunch there today. The Berry Bowl, there you go. I know the mayor touched upon Cinco de Mayo. I just want to personally thank the committee that helped the Business Improvement District, and it was made up of the members of the district, Alvaro Garcia, Garcia's Market, Juan Avalos Taco Factory, Jose Lanavas, Alondra's, Noemi Sid of Noemi's Beauty Salon, And of course, our bid volunteers and and my team, John Numchuck and Stefania Sandy. And again, special thanks to all the entertainers, and especially the MIDI Mariachi Ensemble were amazing. And we have also now, hot off the press, everybody's been looking for these, the Summer Concert Series handouts. The concerts begin May 28th and 29th. We are working with the Juneteenth committee right now for that celebration, so stay tuned for a post on what's coming up with our Juneteenth celebration. And the Paramount Theater Journey Tribute Hugo, May 15th. Tickets are still available. Come have a good time and check out this wonderful Journey tribute group. And then for the rest of like May and June, we have graduations, recitals, ceremonies, and movies all at the Paramount. So spring has sprung, and here we are, and we look forward to a great season.
Any question for Maria? Thank you, Maria.
Thank you.
DPW Commissioner.
Good evening, all. Sorry about I'm not dressed properly tonight because I was in seminar all day. So we'll start off with the. I'll start off honestly with Jim McLenzy. I wanna send my condolences, my sincere condolences, in behalf of DPW. Obviously, the city and the council president, they expressed their condolences on behalf of the city. But he was a code enforcement officer working for us. He's right there in the room next door to us, and he was really a gentleman all the time, absolute professional, doing all he could to straighten out the city and improve quality of life. A couple of months ago, he ran into the mayor, or the mayor ran into him, and Jim told him, bring Jacob over here, I want to see him. And sure enough, I went there with the mayor and Alderman Massey, and it was he was there mentally. He was very sharp, as I've always known him to be a very sharp man, and he'll be missed. May he rest in peace, Jim McLenzy. Of course, for our city historian as well, and congratulations to Mr. Perino for his recognition, well deserved. The reservoirs, Alderman Massey, they are at 99%. Hopefully with tomorrow's rain, will be up to 10%, will be fully full and will be in very good shape. We've been in good shape and will continue to be in good shape as far as providing treated water for our residents and our customers within the city and outside the city. With that, I'll stay with that topic. CDM Smith is moving along with their study about the construction, about the evaluation for potential of construction of a new reservoir at Indigo, or utilizing groundwater as a source. And that will increase the city of Middletown safe yield, and we will be in a better position to supply water to Goshen and Wawayanda and some parts in Walkill if needed. And it's really a regional project, but the city of Middletown is working with the County of Orange to develop that important source that will be needed for generations to come, not only for us here. Staying with the water lines, we have raw water lines from Kinch all the way down to Shuwangang, and we are at 30% right now completion in the plans, and that's for Phase A and Phase B. And we'll be having a meeting with the engineers next week to answer any questions they may have so that we can push this project forward as well. And that's about $16 million project. With that theme, again, we have finished water main that Barton and LaJudas is working on with us to go from the water treatment plant all the way down to Manhagan Avenue to replace an old 24-inch with potentially much larger water main to meet the city's demand and build, again, account for the future and how to distribute water to adjacent communities, at the adjacent districts and all that. So we might go from the 24-inch to 36-inch or potentially 42-inch. And that design is like 80% complete at this time with Barton and LaJudas. Spring cleanup, just to update the community in here, we're almost done. This week will be completed with the spring cleanup month. We're finishing the third ward. First, second, and fourth were done, completed. So this week, city will be all cleaned up. And we urge residents not to put out any more junk, please. If you have a bulk pickup, just call DPW to schedule a bulk pickup, and we'll be happy to come and pick it up later. But let's finish cleaning up the city. Flushing our water system. We've done first, second, third ward, and now we're in the fourth ward. And we will be finishing very soon. Hopefully next week we'll be done with the entire flushing of the water distribution system. So be very careful before you do any laundry, please. Just watch for the water to make sure the quality is good before you start any washes. As some of you, as all of you would know, is the mayor, council president, and the common council, they shifted parks department from Parks and Recreation, and they put it under DPW now. And I want to thank Brian Smith, Deputy Commissioner Brian Smith, and Deputy Commissioner Ross Mastria. They really stepped up and they took personal interest, and they are doing everything they can in order to help address any issues in there. And I just want to thank them. I mean, they're up 6 o'clock in the morning evaluating the parks before anybody gets in there, after rain and so on and so forth. They're doing a great job, and I want to thank them, Brian and Ross. The project, City Court, it's moving along, the construction very well. Should be done next week, completed, and then we will be waiting for the furniture, which will be within a couple of weeks after that. O1W, I expected the mayor to talk about it because that's his pet project, and but it's moving along very well. And you can see cranes in there with O1W. That's a tremendous, huge project that is for the city of Middletown. Restore its history. I'm sure Mr. Kleiner will be very proud of it as well, and so is many in here in the Common Council. And a short line terminal, Middletown Transportation Hub, hopefully that will be picking up very soon. We're doing some real estate transactions to make sure that everything is in the name of the city of Middletown, all private properties involved. They will be in the name of the city of Middletown, so that the federal grant that's available, $7.5 million under the county planning department, will be eligible to spend that money on city-owned property only. So that's almost complete, and we will be moving, hopefully, straight forward. Parking garage project is moving along very well as well, and hopefully next month they will be bringing the precast slabs to set up the first deck of the parking garage. That's across from the Paramount Theater. And with that, I will conclude if you have any questions.
Any questions for Jacob? Thank you, Jacob.
Yep.
City Treasurer.
I really don't have anything this evening. I do want to thank the Middletown School District. I have 2 small children currently in the school district, and it's nice to see the transparency of the budget. I can empathize on how complex it is to put a budget together, so thank you so much. Do you have anything for me?
Any questions? Thank you. Police Chief?
Good evening. Just a comment on the mayor's remarks about the narcotics case. I appreciate all your support. You've always supported us, as did the council, all through the years, so I appreciate that. It did come with a cost, as does everything that we do, but that's, as the mayor said, it's an investment into the safety and quality of life of our community. The nice part is we do have some federal partners in this case that we should be getting some of our monies back, hopefully. So we'll look forward to that, and I'll definitely keep everybody up to speed with that. The accolades and thank yous and everything are amazing, but they really belong to our narcotics unit. Sergeant Bodette, Jason Bodette, and his narcotics unit is a team of highly, highly dedicated individuals. We hand select the individuals that go in there because of their motivation, and I think this is a true testament of their motivation. It's been 9 months of dedicated work in between all the other stuff that they do as well. The last 3 months were pretty much spent on this, along with many, many partners that we're super grateful for, because it had a very very meaningful impact on our community. As the mayor said, it started right here, it ended right here, and we truly believe it's going to have a positive impact on the quality of life here in the city. So, again, I appreciate all of the support that you give us throughout the year, day in and day out. So thank you for that. For those that have not seen it, we did put our digital sign on Fulton Street to help with the school bus red light situations. Many people don't realize that Fulton Street being a 4-lane road, that you're still required to stop in either direction if the school bus is on the opposite lane of traffic with the red lights on. We do get a lot of tickets that come through, a lot of questions in regards to that. They're automated tickets. For those that don't know, the school buses have light or cameras on them that are automatically activated, and then it goes through a whole process. But over the last couple of months, I have heard a lot of feedback about Fulton Avenue specifically, or Fulton Street. So we did put that up there as a awareness and to bring some attention to that situation. Lastly, Mr. Perino, congratulations, well deserved. I'm very, very proud to say that I've been part of many events that I've seen you at, so congratulations. Other than that, I have nothing, unless you have questions for me.
Any questions for the police chief? Alderman Witt?
Thank you, Chief, and for your work that your team did do on the drug bust and the allocation of those resources. It's very much appreciated. I just wanted to follow up on a discussion that you and I had last week about the motor scooters that seem to be everywhere, and with the weather getting better, I'm on Wisner Avenue multiple times a day near Twin Towers and the high school and all the side streets, and it's a growing problem, and I think what also adds to it is our young people also have headphones on and earplugs, so they lose that ability to also process the speed or the sounds of the other vehicles. So can you share any thoughts on where we are with that, please?
Yes, so
Thank you.
fortunately, actually we were talking last week about that. We had 3 of them drive right by us in close proximity, which just highlighted the whole purpose. The council was very supportive of us in this matter as well. We changed some local law to give us a little bit more enforcement efforts. We have done some enforcement efforts in the past. I've actually just reiterated that after our conversation. Our downtown officer, Officer Lane, has been actually giving citations out over the last week. And then I spoke with Sergeant McCann to put together another enforcement detail. We've tried the education, we've done handouts, we've done pamphlets, we've done stops and details where we've handed out the information rather than citations, but it's not getting the impact that we need. I don't think it's anything other than people think they could do whatever they want on them. I don't think they realize that they are subjected to the laws and rules just like everybody else, so I truly feel at this point it is an enforcement effort. Today on my way here, I saw it again. It's kids, and they don't realize they're in and out of traffic, and they don't realize the jeopardy that they put themselves into. I don't think that the headphones, they just add to the problem because they are not paying attention. They're just zoned out in their music. But I do feel like we have to start enforcing it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Alderman Gomez?
I just want to reiterate publicly again, behalf of our communities, our appreciation for Operation Slowdown and the critical role that you played in the Middletown Police. I think these press conferences, I think, sends the message out that our community is no place to do drug business or any kind of criminal activity, and that we will hunt them down and hold those who threaten our public safety. As the mayor pointed out, we will hold them accountable. So thank you once again.
You're welcome. Just to add on to that, one of the things I spoke about at the press conference is something that came to my attention that kind of hit me a little bit different through this whole process is many of our defendants are parolees, active parolees. Some of them are lifetime parolees, and to know that they feel comfortable enough to continue this criminal behavior is alarming to me. So I did address that in our press release, or in our press conference about that, because it is something that I feel needs to be addressed on both the state and the federal level. The programs are just lacking to make sure that those people, when they are released from prison, that have a pathway to be better citizens.
All right, thank you, Chief. City Clerk?
Nothing this evening.
Any question for the City Clerk? Okay, remarks of Alderman Massey.
Just a couple things. One, I want to thank our outstanding police department for another great job in keeping our citizens safe. We really appreciate that. Two, thanks to the Superintendent Creedon and Dr. Cornell for the budget proposal presentation. Please, people, remember to get out on the 19th and vote. And no matter who you decide to vote for the board, make sure you do support the budget. And then finally, congratulations to John Perino. Many of you had John as a teacher. John, I'm old enough to have had your mother as my fourth grade teacher at Albert Street. Thank you.
Alderman Witt.
Thank you very much. I will hop on board again with the school budget. Even though I did get to get in a picture finally, I will put on my other hat as district communications. Along the line of that transparency, all of the information that you heard tonight, as well as every board presentation, as well as every of Dr. Connell and Mrs. Creedon speaking about everything, is all on the district website. You can see the candidates forum that took place last night. You can see bios, short profiles of all the candidates. We took pictures last night of them, and they were, today all that information was put up. So everybody can look at that information at your own leisure, but every time anyone has spoken about this officially at a meeting, it is available for you to watch, whether we go back 3 months or whatever it is. Also, our community will be receiving a publication in the mail that will take a deeper dive into what was spoken about tonight. It'll be at your home before the budget vote, and it's lots of detail, more photos. We opened it up a little bit of an easier read for people. So you'll have that, as well as a reminder postcard to come out and vote. So lots of information available for people who really want to break it down. They also have the opportunity, if they have any election questions about the election, they can call the district clerk, Crystal Moncherie, at 326-1196, or budget questions can be emailed at budget@ecsdm.org. So, and just one thing about the information that we had, and I'm usually halfway decent at remembering this stuff, but on this document about the tax levy, before this was lowered 6.9% for the 22-23 school year, I think I'm right on this, but in the 4 previous years, it was like 0.101%. So this is a very conscientious group of board and administration that has put this budget together. And I can say, if you back these up the 4 years, the amount of money, the 76 million, I don't have my glasses, plus that the tax levy, I dare say, is very close to what it was 8 years ago. So I don't have that particular. If I'm wrong, I'll clarify that somewhere else. But the information is out there, friends. So May 19th, excuse me, please come out and vote. You can go to the board office. You can go to the Maple Hill Annex at Truman Moon or Presidential Park. And if you have any questions where you vote, that's also available by calling the district clerk. Thank you for letting me sneak that advertisement in here.
Alderman Green.
Thank you. Thank you to the school district for coming here, showing great fiscal responsibility and looking forward. It's always, important to look at where we are now, where we came from, but to know that there's a cushion for looking forward and far ahead, preparing for times that may not be so great in terms of state funding and things like that. It just shows how great things really are in terms of finances there. Had a meeting with him last night, but to Mr. Perino, it was great to see you again this evening. There's a few things you can say about some people who demand respect, but I've never seen someone command as much respect just by walking into a room. Going in through school years and through young grades up through high school, I don't think there's a single student in the district at all who I ever came across or who I see now have anything negative to say about you, Mr. Perino, and that's just amazing. I think we've all, had some people we've had some run-ins with in our lives, but just to know that nobody has anything bad to say about you is that's a testament to all the goodwill you've done in your life and in your work, and as much as you're going to be doing forward as well. Now having a son in the district and a daughter who'll be coming up in the district soon enough, to know that they're in a district that you've helped shape so much is truly an honor, and an honor to call you a friend and a colleague as well. It's just a great thing. And just for the police department, yes, a fantastic job. Chief, I think one of the things that people don't understand is just how much fentanyl there was. When I read that number, just the tiniest bit is enough to kill a human being, and the amount that was seized, just mind-blowing, on top of the other narcotics and drugs and guns like that. Just the amount of that, it's such a dangerous drug that people, I don't think, realize, and thank you so much to the narcotics team and all the agencies who really put in the work to see that that's not on the streets anymore. Thank you.
Alderman Gomez.
Thank you. I join the sentiments expressed by my colleagues. Mr. Perino, you've been a mentor to so many generations, including myself, and you give true meaning to the saying that a wonderful teacher, wonderful mentor will forever live in the hearts of his students, and clearly you're that person. And again, I want to commend our school administration for again, once again, presenting us a fiscally sound budget. And I will just note both Mr. O'Connell and Superintendent Creedon, you mentioned one of my favorite topics, unfunded mandates. And as we know, unfunded mandates cause a burden not just on school districts but on municipalities, and we need to continue advocating for comprehensive reform in that area. One thing I always proposed was that if the state could allow both municipalities and school districts to somehow apply for particular mandates for a waiver, if they could demonstrate a more cost-effective way, I think something along those lines will work, and we just need to continue fighting the good fight. And again, I also, as to the final remarks by our police chief concerning the revolving door of parolees, we do need state funding. I think in areas such as a lot of responsibility has been put on local probation departments since the bail reform laws. Nonetheless, but we need to put the money where the mouth is. We need to provide the funding so that probation and other local organizations and government entities could make sure that we cut this revolving door and prevent and allow people to become productive citizens or follow the narrow path as opposed to going back to doing wrong. Again, thank you for your comment, and again, thank you, Mr. Perino, for your lifetime of service, which we hope will continue for many, many years to come.
Alderman Johnson.
Thank you. So I think the meeting this evening really speaks to how many things we have to be thankful for. Our colleagues who've passed recently and their contributions to our city, the work of the mayor and the supervisor from the town of Wallkill, the work of our esteemed colleagues from the Board of Education, the school administration that puts together the budget, law enforcement that keeps us safe, our projects that are going forward. We have a lot to be thankful for. Sue Depew for her work as a literate lady. And we have a lot to be thankful for, and that's a good thing. Thank you.
Alderman John Francois.
Yes, good evening. First, I'd like to say congratulations, Mr. Perino. I truly have to say you're an icon to our community. Thank you for all your work. Thank you for what you do. And our police department, Chief Iwanchi and your staff, great job. I know you guys fight on the daily to keep our street and our community safe of drugs and guns. Thank you for all you guys do. Thank you for everyone that was involved. And respect to DPW Commissioner, you and your staff, you guys did an excellent job this year. I don't know if people realize the Fourth Ward is one of the biggest ward, the biggest ward. And we had a lot of stuff out there this year. And in my mind, I'm thinking it's going to take weeks for us to get done. These guys did this job within 2 or 3 days. Thank you. This guy did a great work. Thank you for DPW, Department of Sanitation, and the Street Department. Great job. Thank you for everyone that's involved. And I encourage the community to come out, Super Tuesday, May 19th. Come out and support. Thank you.
Alderman Rodriguez.
Good news is I'm the last one. I can't even follow after that. I want to congratulate you, Mr. Perino, that fantastic for Lifetime Achievement Accomplishments and the award that was given. To Jacob, I want to say thank you. The streets are clean. They're clean. I mean, the stuff was put out there. I know I put stuff out there. and it was clean, so amazing job. He already know I gave him a nice little email over there to our police chief, great job, to all the people that was out there, and that's about it. Everything else is fantastic. Happy 5 de Mayo, felicidades a todo el mundo que están velando. Congratulations.
New business.
Good evening. We have a resolution sponsored by Alderman Rodriguez authorizing a memorandum of understanding with the Montgomery Veterinary Hospital.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Rodriguez, second by Alderman Green. Any discussion? Roll.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Jean-Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
Green.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Green authorizing the acceptance of a municipal tourism grant from the County of Orange for the Run for Downtown promotional efforts.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Green, second by Alderman Gomez. Any discussion? Roll.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Jean-Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
Green.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Massey authorizing the city to waive sidewalk sale fees for the Cinco de Mayo celebration 2026.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Massey, seconded by Alderman Johnson. Any discussion? Roll.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Jean-Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
Green.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Johnson authorizing a $20,846.36 budget transfer within the police department budget.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Johnson, seconded by Alderman Gomez. Any discussion? Roll.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Jean-Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
Green.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. A resolution sponsored by Alderman Johnson authorizing a $28,850 budget transfer to the Business Improvement District for fertilizing and weed control.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Johnson, seconded by Alderman Massey. Any discussion? Roll.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Jean-Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
Green.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Jean-Francois authorizing a proposal from Stratagem for security upgrades at City Hall.
Resolution by Alderman John Francois, seconded by Alderman Green. Any discussion? Roll.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Jean-Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
Green.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. A resolution sponsored by Alderman Gomez authorizing the naming of the courthouse in Middletown as the Honorable Angelo J. Ingracia Middletown City Court.
Resolution by Alderman Gomez, seconded by Alderman Massey. Any discussion? Roll.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Jean-Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
Green.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Motion carries. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Jean-Francois awarding bids for the street materials and asphalt materials.
Resolution by Alderman John Francois, seconded by Alderman Johnson. Any discussion? Roll.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Jean-Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
Green.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Witt confirming the mayor's reappointment of Timothy Welch as Civil Service Commissioner.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Witt, seconded by Alderman Green. Any discussion? Roll.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Jean-Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
Green.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Motion carries. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Massey confirming the mayor's appointment of Kelly Connolly as Deputy City Treasurer.
A resolution sponsored by Alderman Massey, seconded by Alderman Witt. Any discussion? Roll.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Jean-Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
Green.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries. Local law.
Your turn. Motion from the floor.
Handicap?
Yes, motion for the floor. I request for a handicap parking spot in front of 11 Lowell Avenue.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman John Francois. Do I have a second? Alderman Witt. Any discussion? Roll.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Jean-Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
Green.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Carries.
Local law.
We have local law number 2 of 2026, a local law amending the city charter employee residency requirements.
Sponsored by Alderman Johnson. First reading.
It'll be on for a vote at the May 19th meeting.
Audit.
Mr. President, I move the accounts be audited, the claims be adjusted, and the city treasurer be authorized to issue warrants for their payment.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Johnson, Massey, seconded by Alderman Johnson. Roll.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Jean-Francois.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
Green.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez. Carries.
Move for adjournment.